Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday morning, January 6th. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and NQ. And it certainly looks like we're going to start today's action with our first attempted gap of the new year to the upside. And a pretty sizable one at that. Right now, ES's gap is $4. NQ is closing in on $5. Remember, we said we're going to use a 4-day balance, okay? So you're coming out of that balance on the daily to the upside. Now, again, I'm not going to ignore the Fed Day Wednesday high all the way up there. But for now, we would certainly be calling the daily up on both the ES and the NQ. Then the next big thing would be to take out a weekly high, right? For the weekly to come back. Actually, I'm sorry. We are going to be taking out a weekly high. Okay? Right? January 3rd was the yearly high. So the bears had the daily and the weekly down. Didn't hold it for long, did they? As we're right back to balance. It also means, right, the monthly's in balance. It will be the daily will be up, the weekly will be back to balance, and the monthly's balance. So the bears did not hold on to too much for too long. Righty also looking to gap higher. Remember we had that huge balance? Look at that. Right now they're trying to gap above it. So they would be up on the daily. The weeklies would be back to balance if we take out last week's highs, which right now looks like we will. And the monthlies would be in balance still. In Righty's case, they never took out November's low in December. So it was an inside month. So it'd be interesting if they were to go right back and rotate back up to both November and December's highs at some point. So large gap is going to mean what? You're going to have to give it a little chance to breathe. As the overnight, remember, here's my settlement. A lot of the overnight initially was below it. Overnight's obviously long now, getting longer. Again, gaps of this magnitude, I'm not looking to buy it right off the bat. You have a 9-wide POC from the 27th that will be carried forward. So if we open above it, it's a downside destination. That's a decent risk-reward long if it was to pull back against that, especially if we get the overnight high, okay? NQ doesn't have a POC of that nature. So, again, it doesn't hurt to let the market breathe a bit. Remember, we've had large ranges. What does that mean? You got to give the market a chance to extend itself with these short-term traders. So you play smaller and you widen your stop, right? There's still 80 minutes to go prior to the open. So a lot can happen here. So again, once I'm on the mic at 9:15, we start narrowing it down to what we would look for on both sides. We're not going to just give one side. We'll always give both sides of the market throughout the trading day. Okay? It's the logical thing to do. Okay? You don't want to come in biased on one side, regardless of what the market is doing pre-market. Let the MGI dictate to us what we should be doing once 9:30 rolls around. Again, depending on where the overnight highs are, you could certainly try to front run them at some point if you're near them. But if we do back off and then start going for them or going for the overnight low, I would reverse course and take the trade to go get them. Okay? And then chart-wise, we broke this all down on Friday. Here's the monthly, right? We took out last month's low in ES. Again, we'll see how big the monthly balance will be, whether it's a 2-month, 3-month. Again, it's only January 6th, so we have time. The weekly was down, but right now we're taking out. Last week's high was 592.60 in SPY. Taken out by $4. That's a weekly gap. Keep that in mind, okay? So you're going to be back to balance. Again, how big is the balance? Well, at least initially, it'd be a 4-week balance, 3 weeks and today. but it remains to be seen at the end of the week. And then on the daily, coming out of a 4-day balance on a gap to the upside. So we're going to have both a daily and a weekly gap. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. Good luck trading today, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.